How my house sold itself. Welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful. Yeah, my house sold itself. I mean, there was lots of things that we had to do, like hire a real estate agent and all the things, clean it, get rid of a bunch of stuff, all the things. And what I actually had to do for it to sell is something I'd probably never really been willing to choose before. Now, in case you're new here, the reason that I'm doing this out here, and I look quite dark because I'm sitting in a little bit of shade and sun, and it's because that swimming pool. Pretty soon, like in a couple weeks, I won't be able to do this video here. I know, June 28th is when the new owners take over, and hubby and I are officially on our way to wherever the hell we would like to go to snuggle animals. Yes, we are going to be house sitting around the world full time. Oh my goodness, it's still so unreal to me. And for any of you that have been waiting for attending a pool party, bars and foundation, June 21st for bars, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and half of 25th, they're now 3.5 days, foundation in this pool. Okay, the classes aren't in this pool, but here, come here, be quick though, because this is it. This is our final pool party, bars, and foundation. Oh my goodness. How's it get any better than this? So, the way that my house sold itself is that I actually had to stay out of it. And what I mean by that is energetically, I had to stay out of it. So when we sold our previous acreage, which was about 6 years ago, I was very much energetically involved. I was very much pushing and pulling and forcing and energetically doing all these things and all the things, which was cool. This was so clear to me, like so clear to me, that I actually energetically had to stay out of it. I even created myself an energetic exercise to sell the house. I listened to it once. I was not even able to listen to it. And what I know is because it needed to be out of it. Now, why would I have to be out of it? I'm not really sure. I'm going to put some words to it. I cannot say this for sure. I would guess that because I love this place so much, like when I got the text from the realtor that all the conditions were removed, I literally cried and cried and cried. Now I'm happy, I truly am. I'm so excited to move on and to do other things and all of it, and I have loved this home and this pool more than words can actually say. I have loved so much about it, and of course the pool is the big thing, but for 6 months a year, probably honestly 5 months a year, the pool is closed. And I still love this home. I love the space of it. I love so many things. So my guess is that energetically, if I was in the sale of it, if I was attempting to do any of the other things that I had done before, I could possibly have put more of a stop energy on it than a go energy, so to speak. And even when I wanted to, even when I really wanted to control and jump in and do all the energy, I couldn't. Like there was no energy to do it. It was like a hard no. And it's so cool. One, that I was able to. And two, that I've really changed how much I control. I still have a ways to go. I'm going to be honest here. And I've changed a lot of the control in my world and the need to be in it, the need to have it. And there's still areas. I'm not saying that I'm out of control 100% of the time, because I am not. And in this experience, I had to be. I couldn't. I would have loved to tried to. Well, no. I would have attempted to be way more in control, way more controlling of it, except it wouldn't let me. One of the things that I do, and I suggest this for any of you that this reads for, is to recognize that all the things around us have a consciousness of their own. So even the chair I'm sitting in, my swimming pool, my home, they'll have an energy of their own. It's like when you have a baby. That baby, yes, it's with you. It may be if you were the female and it grew inside of you and came out of you, but it's still not you. It's its own energy. It's its own being, and so is everything around us. So years ago, what I started doing is I started giving permission to everything around me to override my insanity. Meaning, if I'm going to be crazy about something and it would like something different than my insanity, to override it. And I would say that this house took that literally, which I'm so grateful for, because it did. I could not energetically do anything. Physically I could, of course. I cleaned out stuff and organized stuff and got ready for viewings and such. And there were times where I really felt like, oh, I should, check in with the realtor. I should do this. And it was just like, no, like just no energy on it. And I just, realized it was like I had to actually be out of it. And out of it, meaning out of the energy of it in that sense. I was never out of it because we're oneness. We can't be out of it. But energetically, I was out of it while still being very present with it. And it's a whole new muscle. And I wonder, like, how many times has something attempted to get me out of it where I still bulldozed? That's okay. But I will now be so much more aware of that. And I will really recognize that I've given all the things around me permission to override my insanity. So they can do more without me being energetically involved in lots of ways when I have a point of view about it. So I should say that if I can be totally in allowance of whatever and all of that, then of course my energy in that sense is going to be a huge contribution. But if my energy is going to stick it or stop it, that to me is when it becomes a problem. And that's where I have invited it, such as my house, to say, you know what, I'm going to push you aside and I'm going to take the wheel, so to speak. And I did, of course, I said, hey, you need to find who you would like to own. Because again, with things, we often think we own them. Even babies, sometimes the kids, spouses, all of that, we often think we own them. We do not. But like with a house, we even use that word, like, the house that I own, or even my house. That can be a bit of a limitation because it's not that, it's the house. The house owns me. I've been the one who's, been paying for it, and hubby's been, doing all the upkeep and all that sort of stuff. And so it actually owns us, which is a really, for me, quite a freeing energy when we recognize what is, which is it. We do not own it. It owns us. So then when I said to the house, hey, you go find who you would like to own, gave it the choice rather than pushing and forcing and all the other stuff that I might have done. I'm not sure that I would have, possibly, of course, or the other way in this case, stopped the sale, stopped it from being an invitation, like just energetically being so in love with it. That sounds really dramatic, but just really so grateful for it, and really have, if we weren't going off to travel the world, to fulfill this lifelong dream of ours, I'm not sure that we would actually sell for any other reason. And so that also was a part of it. It was like, it's not that I don't want to live here anymore. It's not that I don't like it anymore. It's not that it doesn't suit us anymore. Like, it's none of those things. It's just that we've got another plan, and we've traveled the world a lot prior to COVID. I mean, we traveled all the time. Just the extra, I don't know, stress, I guess, of having a home. And at that time, of course, we had our kitties. So having, making arrangements for them and all the things that just were a lot. That's when it really started to be like, man, imagine if we didn't have to go home. Imagine if we could just keep going and to the next place and to the next place and to the next place. And that for me is just such a huge invitation. What we've hubby and I have chose, is that we'll give it a shot for a year. If for some reason it's not what we would like, or it's not fun for us, then in a year we will look at it and make another choice. Now, I don't mean we have to stick out a year. We just know that there's probably going to be some times where we miss a home, or we have, maybe we're having a tough time at a house sit and we don't love it. So we don't want to make any harsh decisions. We want to be present with it all. And just the idea of like just giving ourselves the space for a year just to see. Who knows? I wonder. So it's just a different space to be in, and allowing everything around you to override your insanity. That's where you're co-creating, and you are allowing the things that have no points of views, that have more awareness in those areas because they don't have points of views, to really contribute. You're allowing yourself to really be the gifting and receiving. And last week, my radio show was all about following the energy. And so it's about that. It's really allowing these things to guide us, to show us. In fact, when I first knew that we were going to be listing our home, it was last October, November-ish of 2022. And I knew we would list our home in the winter, or sorry, in the spring for a pool. And what I did was I posted in a local group, and I posted for two reasons. One, wanted to see if there was anybody who reached out. Now at the time, I thought reached out privately, not like just somebody saying, oh my gosh, that's the type of house we're looking for, tell me more, and maybe doing the deal that way. That was kind of some of the energy behind the post. I was also looking actually for some recommendations. We needed a couple things done, so that was the actual post. At the same time I made that post, I posted beautiful summer photos of the house on my personal page. My personal page is public, so I thought if anybody sees my post and gets curious and they went to my personal page, they might go, oh, look at all these pictures. This is what I was doing at the time. So I posted, I got a lot of responses in terms of the answers to my questions. However, nobody reached out about the house itself. So I just left it. And it felt a little weird to me because I really energetically got that that was going to occur. However, it didn't. Until March of this year. And my friend Chris Hassel, who is a realtor too far away from here that could sell my home, otherwise I would have had him do it in a heartbeat. Him and I were chatting one day about realtors and houses and all the things. That next morning I woke up to a Facebook message from somebody who had seen that post from months earlier, who was a realtor. And it was like, this feels yummy. This feels expansive. And then, chatted with him, and he was just such a magical fit. And I have just been so incredibly grateful for the magic he is with selling houses and all the things. And it was like, even in that, I did my part, because if I wouldn't have made that post, he could not have found us any other way, unless I of course made another post or whatever. But just following the energy and allowing the magic. And in my case, especially in this situation, energetically staying out of it. Huge gift. And so grateful that I could actually do it. And I wonder how many other places I could actually choose to be way less out of control. So join us for Bars and Foundation. Would love to have you. Have a wonderful week, sweet friends. I look forward to chatting again next week.